Shocking data from USCIS. It looks like there's an increase in EB1A and EB2 national interest waivers self-petition. In fact, over 50% more than last year, 2024. Why is this happening? How it's going to impact your petition for a green card if you're currently going through a petition through an employer, and what are the biggest trends in this movement of self-petitions? More and more people are going to be looking to apply, and I'll tell you, is it worth it? What can you do to increase the chances of your case? All the statistics you need to know about the best professions that are doing this, everything in this video. My name is Jacob Sapochnick, and I'm an immigration attorney making videos every single week telling you about the biggest trends, about the biggest news in immigration, about the best things you need to do to improve your case. So why EB1A, why NIW, and why now? As I mentioned before, filing for EB1As and NIWs remains very high on the third quarter of this year. In fact, as I mentioned before, over 50% more cases than last year. Let's put this in perspective. Let's look at some numbers. Number one, 50% more filings than last year. What is the approval rate for EB1A if you're going to file? Now it stands at 67%. It's definitely down than last year, but it's not horrible. What is the backlog of these EB1 cases? Now that you file, they're going to be pending about 2 months. It's slightly increased from the last few months, but it's still not horrible. Let's talk about NIW. What's the approval rate of EB2 NIW? Right now, it stands at 61%, definitely less than last year, this time of year. Let's talk about O1A, guys. O1A is a talent visa as well. It's a visa, it's not a green card. But the current approval rate for O1A is 90%. So if you're not ready for your NIW or EB1A, consider the O1. It's a little bit easier to get it, and the numbers are telling us that. What about I-130 petitions, just to compare? 20% down in approvals year by year. It just shows you how strict USCIS is becoming. How about removal of conditions? 96% of cases up compared to last year. More and more people are filing for removal of conditions right now. Less people are starting new marriage cases. And of course, more people are now removing conditions. Those are people that were approved 2 years ago. So if you look at EB1As, what does it tell us? It tells us that there's a strong demand for EB1 cases. And the reason is because more and more people are looking to file self-petitions. What about approval rate? As I mentioned before, right now it stands at 67% approval rate, but it's still not bad. If you consider the fact that so many people are applying, 67% of people who are applying are actually getting approved. And this 67% approval rate is the lowest in 3 years. What we do see right now is more and more of these cases are getting requests for evidence, and more denials are coming as a result of this request for evidence. You know, many of these requests for evidence are asking for almost everything. So even if you submit them a lot of information in the beginning, the request for evidence is going to go through point by point, and they're not going to give you credit for anything, which will require you to reassemble the case almost from zero when you respond to those requests for evidence. Why do we have this EB1A backlog right now? It's direct result of the request for evidence. And guys, remember, if you file an EB1A right now in October of 2025, you're going to get a request for evidence almost in 95% of all cases. And you got to be ready for this. And there's a specific way to address these requests for evidence. And sometimes when you respond to requests for evidence, you're not going to get a response for up to 6 months, which obviously creates a problem, because if you're trying to file for premium processing, you're trying to get a fast approval for EB1A, as soon as you get a request for evidence, it's going to prolong your case even longer. So here's a tip. What can you do if you're going to file an EB1A right now or an NIW case? This is something that we do at our office. Number one, submit as many documents as possible that are relevant to your petition with the initial filing. Where maybe in the past, we would hold off on some of these evidence, thinking that if we do get an RFE, we would like to help respond. Right now, it is important to submit all the evidence, but it has to be relevant. Don't just bombard them with documents. They're not going to like that, and most likely you'll get an RFE and potential denial as well. When you submit that, include all the publications, the media coverage, any awards, any reference letters, any other documents submitted in the beginning, and show immigration how it relates to the prongs that you're trying to satisfy. Remember, you have to try to get 3 out of 8 points in most of these cases, And if you are able to show clearly how your evidence is tied to those prongs, in addition to the merit of the applicant, you'll have a stronger case. Remember, requests for evidence are now part of this process. Be prepared to receive one and get ready to respond properly. Also, remember that when you get an RFE, they give you a period of time to respond. Don't stretch that time. Try to get as much information as you can in the beginning and respond as soon as possible, because they're already going to take time to give you a decision. You don't want to delay that process even further. Now, which countries are now being targeted the most? Number one, India. A lot of our Indian cases are getting RFE. Number two, Nigerian cases. And the reason why is because a lot of applicants from India and Nigeria were filing a lot of cases in the past year. Many attorneys were targeting those countries, and as a result, they were getting filings from those countries. And now immigration are questioning whether all these applicants actually meet the criteria. So Nigeria, India, high alert. If you have cases from those countries, be careful and put extra attention to document it heavily to avoid these requests for evidence and denials. Of course, less applicants from China are filing EB1As right now, and as a result, we see less requests for evidence. More applicants from China are going back to EB5 cases, and we see more increase in that area. Let's talk about EB2 national interest waiver. What we've seen there is definitely more scrutiny and more denials, and it's more difficult to get those cases approved right now, October 2025. Like I said, right now we have 61% approval rate, and the backlog is really, really bad. To get an approval for these I-140s, if you do premium, you still have 4.5 to 6 months of delay. Right now, we see that USCIS is applying stricter criteria to the NIW argument, specifically the case of Danasar, and all the evidence that you have to prove your national interest impact. So be careful when you're filing those cases, because denials are on the rise. Let's talk about O1 petitions, our favorite. O1 petitions remain steady and approval rates are pretty good. Right now, the O1 is the most reliable out of all the options applying for immigration to the United States. 90% approval rate, and if you meet the requirements, guys, you will be approved. Right now, if you qualify for the O1, we're going to focus on that and later on apply for other petitions, or do it at the same time. Because remember, the O1, it's a non-immigrant visa. You'll be able to come here sooner while you're working to improve or try to get the EB1 or NIW. So what are we going to look at the last quarter of USCIS in employment-based cases, specifically self-petition? More requests for evidence, more intention to deny, and of course, more denials. We're going to see a slight reduction in the backlog as they clear their backlog for EB1As. So if you have a strong EB1 case, make sure you prepare it right now. We think that NIW applications are going to stabilize sometime in February, March of 2026. So it's now the time to prepare those cases. So when you file, your cases will be adjudicated in higher percentage. Remember, guys, self-petitions are still very powerful. With the introduction of the gold card coming in December, you're going to see more people applying for self-petitions, if they have money. But also remember that they're thinking about adding that category to the EB1, which means we're going to see more competition in that category. If you qualify for the EB1 self-petition, now is the time to book an appointment. Guys, if you're watching my videos and you have not subscribed to my channel yet, click the notification bells so you don't miss any of my videos. And also give us a big like so YouTube will be able to show this videos to more people just like you. If you need a consultation to discuss your EB1 or NIW potential, send me a text 619-483-4549 or go to www.immigrationsap.com. Leave your details and one of our team members will contact you ASAP. Guys, thanks for watching. Stay strong. And if you want to try to apply for the self-petition, I want to work with you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.